Charity is love. A very special kind of love, selfless, pure, and given without any expectation of anything in return. When the Apostle Paul sent his letter to the Corinthians in Greece, they were in turmoil, lacking leadership, doubting the very tenets, the foundation of Christianity. They were turning on one another. Unity had given way to dissension and jealousy. You can feel Paul's passion, his frustration and urgency as he implores the congregation to remember the only three everlasting principles: faith, hope, charity. With words that convey the great urgency he felt, he narrowed the message even more, telling the church that if they remember only one thing above anything else, they must love one another. Look out for one another. Because, he says, without that, there is no faith, no hope. Listen to his words. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity, I have become as a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and I have not charity, it profit me nothing. Charity is a love that uplifts, supports, embraces, with no expectation. Paul called it the epitome of perfection in the Christian life. The Gospel of Mark likewise instructs us to love thy neighbor as thyself. And Jesus taught that we should do unto others as you would have them do unto you. America was founded on these principles. The founders envisioned a country where all were lifted up and given the opportunity to pursue their own happiness and fulfillment, a country where each of us would be mindful of each other, where basic humanity would prevent the need for government intervention or interference. Our Declaration of Independence boldly asserts that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. And the poet's words that adorn the tablet of America's most iconic symbol, the Statue of Liberty, read, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Equality, opportunity, and no expectation of anything in return. That is charity." When did the meaning of the word change? When did it become more negative than uplifting? Did you know that before 1932 there was no such thing as a regular government assistance program in this country? No welfare, no bailouts, no stimulus package, no unemployment benefits, Social Security, and no one was too big to fail. Families took care of their own. Neighbors helped neighbors. Churches reached out to those in need. One state helped out another. As the founders had intended, the federal government was not part of the equation. We, the people, reached out to meet the needs we saw around us. A temporary helping hand, just till you get back on your feet. Almost everybody needed a hand at some point or another. Therefore, we treated others as we would want to be treated. We tried to love our neighbors as ourselves, whether we really liked them or not. It's who we were. We didn't wait on a government rescue because there weren't any. And in the infinite wisdom of our founders, they believed that if government ever got involved with charity, corruption and tyranny would follow. Of course, they were right. It was in 1932 that the crisis of the Great Depression allowed Herbert Hoover to step in and introduce a brand new kind of charity in America. And the meaning of the word began to change. With the door cracked open, FDR knocked it off its hinges with a New Deal that firmly ensconced entitlements as part of the American landscape. The fix was in, the damage was done. Americans now supported by the government, beholding, dependent, vulnerable, stuck. Sadly, tragically, over time, We've come to this place where we accept this politicized brand of charity as the norm, watching our budgets balloon, assistance rolls multiply, and the self-esteem and the quality of millions of lives damaged beyond repair. A sadistic form of bribery perpetrated by both parties, votes purchased, power ensured, all in the name of charity. It was never supposed to be this way. And if we are to survive, it must stop. Without charity, true charity, there is nothing. With each new program launched, each new tax dollar committed, we move further away from a dream that was coined uniquely American: equality at birth, and a sky's-the-limit brand of opportunity to pursue whatever degree of happiness you choose. To recapture that dream, to shrink the bloated, invasive, controlling monster that our federal government has become, we the people must restore charity to its original meaning and take back our rightful responsibility. We must return to the time when the government was the stop of last resort, the most distasteful, the final option, instead of the ready answer for all that ails and afflicts. It will mean sacrifice, but Americans have had to do it before. Our grandparents and our great-grandparents welcomed into their homes families and friends down on their luck. They made it work. That's what they did. That is charity. Our responsibility is no less than that of the men and women who are called upon to risk their lives to defend the freedom and security of our country. Because know this, the threat to our way of life, our sovereignty, is every bit as challenged by our own government, seemingly hell-bent on bankrupting our future and enslaving its citizens, than it is by any of our sworn enemies around the world. Charity, real charity, coupled with a Constitution, an understanding of the Constitution, empowers, uplifts, and sets free. And without it, there is nothing. Faith, hope, charity. This is the tough part of America, I guess, because there's so many people that don't understand charity. There's so many people that don't understand what charity means. If you want to say that you don't want the government to be involved in charity, well, then you must hate people. No, I don't want people to be slaves to anyone else. The government, when they give charity, it's with a price. When they give charity, they don't require anything back. When you give someone charity, you're trying to help them up because they have stumbled. They have fallen, and we all have fallen. And if you haven't, look out, Jack, because you will. And we all need somebody to say, come on, brother, I'm here. But I don't remember reading about the Good Samaritan. Maybe I misunderstood the parable, but I don't remember Jesus talking about, you know what? I tell you what, oh, look at you, you're in the ditch. I tell you what, somebody from the government will be by in about 20 minutes. That wasn't what the parable was about. Picking our brothers up from the ditch, bringing them in, bandaging them up, taking care of it ourselves. That's what's always made America great. We cared about each other. I don't know about you, but I've never felt charitable on April 15th. Tax day, I've never went, wow, I feel good. I feel, quite honestly, when I pay my tithing, that stinks on ice. I remember when I first joined my church, I remember saying, "Holy cow, 10%, really? Like every year?" It is my greatest honor to be able to give 10%. Of course, it made things tough for my agent because he had 10%, and I said, "Now look, I know what God did for me today. What the hell have you done for me today?" My family is so sweet, and my children and my wife lift me up in different ways. And my oldest daughter, or my second oldest daughter, Hannah, I was having a really tough week. This is about 6 months ago, and I was having a really tough week. And got to Friday, and my daughter came over to my office and she said, "Dad, I made something for you, and I want you to listen to it on the way home." And so I got in the car with her, and I drove her to her apartment, and I popped the CD in that she had made for me. And it was a collection of songs. She just labeled it, "Be Happy." And on the way home from New York to my house, it takes about an hour to an hour and a half to get home. And so I listened to it the whole time, and I really listened to the words. It was one of the more kind things anybody had done for me, because she had really taken time to think about how I was feeling. And one of the songs in there on that CD I had never heard before. And it was towards the end of the CD, and I have to tell you, I laughed when I heard the words, and I punched it back and I listened to it again. And the reason why I laughed, it was almost an evil laugh. It was almost like, ho, 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 ho. Because my daughter, whether she knew it or not, had given me the greatest message on charity I had heard. And I want to play just a little bit of it. If we can play just a clip of it. Listen to this.
Oh, let's get rich and buy our parents' homes in the south of France. Let's get rich and give everybody nice sweaters and teach them how to dance. Let's get rich and build a house on a mountain, making everybody look like ants. From way up there, you and I, you and I.
Okay, I listened to that song, and that's when that evil laugh happened. Because I'd never heard of this artist before.